You are now listening to the Prime Podcast, a show dedicated to exploring and investigating all things health and fitness related. Join us on this journey to live life in your prime. Now on to the episode.
All right, don't put that in the podcast.
It wasn't. It just started recording, but I usually will edit some parts out.
Should we rap again at the beginning? Like I'll give you a beatbox. And
you want me to beatbox or you rap?
No, me beatbox, you rap. Me and Ant, we are friends. Time to do the podcast on High Rocks. Let's get it, boy. That was good. That was really good.
Boy.
Yeah, boy. Do you remember that video?
Flavor Flav.
It was like these two kids, and it was like longest yeah boy ever, and it was just them going yeah boy for like 2 minutes long.
No, I don't know.
You gotta watch that sometime.
Do I find that on TikTok or Instagram?
YouTube probably. I think it was a Vine, so it'd be
Vine,
on YouTube.
Big time throwback. I heard Vine is making a comeback.
I hope so. That and did you see the people are redoing the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge?
I
And
did.
They've started that up again. That's pretty
But it's
cool.
for something different now, though, isn't it? USC Mindfulness, maybe?
I don't know what that is.
I don't know either, but people keep tagging it.
We'll have to look. We'll have to get informed just in case we ever get nominated to do it.
USC Mind Ice Bucket Challenge meeting. The revival of the Ice Bucket Challenge supports and highlights the critical need for I don't know. The need for mental health awareness and discussions. The new viral sensation takes over Instagram quickly, raising thousands to benefit the work of active minds. But what does it stand for? That's right, 'cause it says
Maybe
USC, University of South Carolina's
Yeah, I was going to say maybe
Mind
they did
Club.
it.
Yeah, has launched a bold, reimagined Ice Bucket Challenge focused on mental health, and attention it has received is already immense. Cool.
I would like to say I saw the first video get posted of like the revamp. It was on TikTok.
The first ever?
Yeah, of like the revamp. I commented on it and said, I would like to prove that I'm here to see this first rendition of the Ice Bucket Challenge come back to life.
We got to find the post to make sure that's real.
It is. I have it
We have to
liked.
fact check. Where's our fact checkers?
I have it liked. I'll show you after the pod.
All right.
But, all right. I think I'll start with my bone that I have to pick with you from this week.
Oh, no.
So I just have a question because I was distraught about it. It was like Tuesday, I think, and it was technically like every 3 minute on the minute or like an EMOM type of thing, but it said AMRAP 3, which like I obviously get the way that you write the programming, so like it made sense to me, but people were coming up to me and saying it's not technically an AMRAP.
It is.
It's technically every minute for 3 minutes or whatever it was. I forgot what the workout was. But that's my bone.
It was five times 3-minute AMRAP. And you had to get max calories in the remaining time. So technically AMRAP can mean two things. It can mean as many reps as possible or as many rounds as possible. So the R is interchangeable. So technically in that workout, you were trying to get as many calories or reps as possible in 3 minutes. So there's really no bone to pick because it wasn't every 3 minutes, because every 3 minutes is just like stations.
All right, the beef is squashed, I guess. Heard it here first, folks. All right. I guess today, this was like a new email that we sent out this week. A lot of our fans are obviously a lot of our fans are like people who work out here and they contribute to like what we think about for topics and stuff. And email this week that went out was that we are now a High Rocks affiliate gym. So I have some questions and just things to go about today so we can kind of explain that more.
I don't know if I like holding this as much as my other headset.
It's kind of sassy.
A little bit. And then my hand got tired, so I have to switch.
Or like when I'm talking, just put it down. And then when you have something to say, pick it up. Well, just go like this.
That's what that makes so much noise.
Was that loud?
That's like what like some of the comedians will do that when they're like smack people. They're like,
oh, yeah. You're right. But yeah, you like that topic?
High Rocks, yeah, I love it.
We'll dive into it.
I think it's so High Rocks, if you're not familiar, I was just explaining it to somebody. It makes the most sense that way if you're familiar. If you're not familiar, then I guess I'll have to do a better job explaining it. But it's essentially a Spartan race, which became super popular probably, 6 to 8 years ago. Spartan race or obstacle course racing, where you go to a mountain or something like that and you race, and then every quarter mile or every half a mile, you stop and do a challenge, right? There'd be an obstacle courses like climbing over a wall, tightrope walk over like a lake, where you would do like monkey bars, or you crawl under barbed wire, or they do joust somebody, or you throw to a target in the Spartan race. So they have all these different challenges at different increments of the race. Now all they did is they took kind of like some CrossFit-y movements or, functional fitness movements, and they made those the stations. So now you run a 1,000 meters, which is kind of an obscure number. It's not like a half a mile, but it's not a mile. It's not a quarter mile. It's not 3/4 mile. It's like 1K. And then at each increment, you do some functional thing. So you run, you do a row. You run, you ski, you run, you sled push, you run, you do wall balls, you run, you do lunges, you run, you do burpees, you run, you do, fill in the blank with different functional movements. And it's a long race. I think it takes people like maybe close to an hour, the full deal. You can do it with partners. They have like a world championship now. And a lot of the big time name CrossFit athletes, because CrossFit is kind of on the down, like their airplane is crashing right now, pretty big. And so it's kind of taking the place of the CrossFit thing. And I think it's melded the two communities of like that obstacle course race and the functional fitness, because if you go to your local, there's one coming up, a local CrossFit competition. Actually, there's a couple of them here, and you can't do like all the movements. Like you can't do like a snatch or a muscle up or these weird obscure movements that require like a ton of skill and a ton of like high level of fitness. But I still want to be competitive and do like these challenges. And High Rocks kind of checks those boxes for you, right? So it gives it a challenge. It makes it competitive, but the movements are pretty simplistic in nature, where everybody can do them. Everybody can do a burpee broad jump. Everybody can do a lunge. Everybody can do a wall ball. There's different weights that you can use. There's elite level, there's novice, and there's whatever, intermediate. So you have different things there, and everyone can push a sled. Everyone can pull a sled. Obviously there's different weights for different categories, but I think it makes that fitness running component a little bit more accessible to everybody, where maybe Spartan races, like who wants to go into a mountain and like run in fire and stuff like that.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it
do
is fun.
that.
I did do a couple Tough Mudders, and like one of the first ones I did, I did a couple of them. The first one I did with a buddy, it was like in October, maybe in New Jersey. And the first challenge you had to do was jump into a lake and swim across it. And it was freezing. And my buddy,
polar plunge.
like literally, and then you were soaking wet for the next 12 miles in the winter, essentially in New Jersey. And my buddy who jumped in, he almost got like hypothermic shock, like right away, because like he wasn't used to like that cold plunge. And then I did it with my wife in a mountain in Vermont, and it was summertime, and they had like a storage container, like full of ice, like ice water. Like, like the storage containers, like, yeah. And they had the top like cut off, and then at increments, they had like a piece of wood with like barbed wire. So you couldn't go over it. You had to go under it. And Catherine literally wouldn't go. So I had to go under, and I fucking dragged her by her leg. Well, I just cursed. And I dragged her under.
Waterboard her.
Yeah, literally. I had to drag her under with me. And she was freaking out the whole time. I was like, come on, it's at least summertime. But that was the first thing they made you do, was just get soaking wet in like an ice plunge in both races. And it was just miserable the rest of the time, because then your socks and shoes are wet, and it's just cold, and it's just miserable.
I have like tears in my eyes. That's
but
hilarious.
those were like my two. So that's not for everybody. And then at different parts of the Tough Mudder, you're literally getting electrocuted. Like you're crawling under these like things, these like live wires, and it would like smack. It would like catch your butt, and it would like shoot a jolt into you of electricity. So that's not for everybody. Not everybody wants to get electrocuted and
that's insane.
Go into cold.
I've never heard that Jurassic of like races.
Yeah.
I just thought it was like a mud run and like a color run. I've done.
See, that's the Tough Mudder. I don't even know if Tough Mudder still exists. Does it still?
I don't think so.
Oh, no, it does. Mud and run obstacles. Yeah, it still does.
Can we do one?
Not your everyday tough. So you got to be tougher than everyday tough.
I would die to do one with you guys. That would be so funny.
See, they used to be Infinity Philly. I don't know what that means. Michigan, Philly. Only in big cities now. Nashville. Hey, October. Yeah, it's still around. The obstacles here. Let's see what the obstacles say. The Arctic Enema. That's the first one. Take a dunk in this 34-degree ice pit. Yeah, glass will never be safe. the Block Ness Monster. You have to crawl over this thing in this like dirty ass water everyone's in. 40-foot wall. You got to crawl under a cage. Look at this. This guy's underwater. He's crawling on a cage.
Oh my god! Oh, that looks like Survivor. They have a
Look at
challenge
the water.
in
It's
Survivor.
disgusting. Electric shock
That would
therapy.
tweet-
See, they make you run through these like wires and you get shocked. Yeah, it's like it's wild, man. It's wild.
I really want to do one.
Yeah.
Can we please do one
We'll have
as
to
a
look and
staff?
see. Yeah, we'll look and see.
That would be. That one is crazy.
Yeah.
You just run through and just get tased.
And this one, you're like crawling under barbed wire. Yeah, these are the electric eel. Right? You're in water getting electrocuted. Like, these are, what is going on with this? Yeah, it's just,
Oh my god, we would go crazy with that.
yeah, it's.
I like that muddy one.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
just like have to crawl through the mud.
Yeah.
That one's good.
So I've done a couple of those a long time ago, and it was fun. But I would never do it in the cold weather. I'd need like June, July. I need warm weather.
We'll look for one and we'll get back to you guys once.
But
we do it.
essentially, High Rocks is another iteration of these kind of obstacle course race ideas, but they're merging kind of the functional fitness aspect of it with the cardio stuff that everyone has been doing. And I guess the biggest thing for us, so a couple of things. I think we already do something similar on our Wednesday classes. We've kind of pegged it as core and conditioning over the last 6 to 8 years. And the only difference is now that we might do a little bit less core specific movements like sit-ups and side planks, things like that. We might just throw in some of the High Rocks functional fitness movements that are, maybe body weight lunges or, sled work or different things like that would go along with our cardio that we do. So that's going to be the biggest real change that you're going to notice here as a member. And then we might add additional, High Rocks days or High Rocks workouts into our week. But we haven't kind of talked about that so much yet to kind of figure out what the next steps are of that progression. But really the only big change right now for us is our Wednesdays are just going to change slightly. And the cool thing about High Rocks is that they've given us access to something like 300 workouts that they kind of promote to gyms that are affiliated with them. And I've kind of taken some of those ideas or concepts and blended them into our regular day-to-day stuff, as long as it fits kind of like what we're doing. Sometimes they have some funky movements that we would never do, and I'm not going to take those, but the structure of them or the ideas like that kind of fit into what we already do on a regular basis anyway.
So kind of leading off of that, how are we going to implement this into our gym?
So, that's the big thing, just like putting it into our Wednesdays and maybe adding a little bit more into our regular conditioning things that we already have. To be honest, all of the stuff we do kind of fits in any category if you really want to take a deeper dive into how our program design is. But we aren't, we're affiliated with CrossFit. We're affiliated with High Rocks. And now for people who aren't super familiar with what that means is an affiliation isn't like a chain or something like that. Like, we're not McDonald's where we have to serve a Big Mac. Like in CrossFit, you don't have to serve thrusters. Like, you don't have to serve snatches. Like, you can, by being an affiliation with an organization, it just means that you are allowed to use their name and the likeliness of their branding stuff in your marketing and in how you talk about your facility. So technically, we're a CrossFit gym by affiliation and legality, so that if we were to do Murph, which is a CrossFit thing, right, which a lot of people don't maybe not know, but Murph is technically a CrossFit branded thing and a CrossFit hero workout. So technically, if you're doing Murph at a facility or somewhere else and they're not a CrossFit gym, they could get in trouble legally because that's a CrossFit branded thing. So we are technically still a CrossFit thing because we like to do certain CrossFit things that we will do on occasion, whether that's the open or whether that's a couple of workouts here and there that are those named workouts. Like we just did one not too long ago to prepare for Murph, which is called Cindy. Those are CrossFit things. Now, is somebody like hunting people down and be like, oh, you guys did Cindy on Monday, April 16th. We're going to sue you now. They said that they used to do that. I don't know if they're still doing that as much unless somebody snitches on you, right? So I know gyms locally or gyms in the other areas where, like, if a CrossFit gym is paying an affiliate, like let's say we pay the affiliate and then Johnny across the street starts promoting CrossFit, but they're not a CrossFit affiliate, like I can snitch on them to CrossFit and CrossFit will come down on them. But I don't know if that's happening as much anymore. And not that I would do that personally, but I have heard of people doing that.
Yeah, it's basically just like a formality. Is that the right word to use?
Yeah, I guess it's a formality and just kind of like, like I said, like a legal thing, right? So you just get to use their name. You get to call yourself a High Rocks gym or a CrossFit gym, even though like we at Prime Movement Performance, we don't do CrossFit. Like we don't do High Rocks because like if you're truly doing CrossFit, like you're doing CrossFit every day. If you're truly doing High Rocks, you're doing High Rocks every day. And what we've done over the years since we've been open, so we're going into our 10th year, is, we pull from all these different styles, right? We pull from maybe Mike Boyle strength and conditioning, which is like they're just straight strength and conditioning, unilateral work, things like that. We pull from CrossFit a little bit. We pull now from High Rocks a little bit. We pull from, some of my own experiences of like, powerlifting or strength training as a kid, maybe some Olympic lifting, maybe, all these different experiences that I've had because I read all the workouts, they kind of all get blended into this program that's very unique to what Prime Movement Performance is.
I was talking with Matt Daughtry a little bit, and he was talking about how an old podcast, you kind of had a Venn diagram, and it was like boot camp was on one side, CrossFit on the other, and then Prime was kind of like somewhere in the middle. So we were just chatting it up before our last class, and we're like, so now is that like another circle where like we're adding like a High Rock circle, and then Prime's still like somewhere in the middle? Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, if you like, and we could do that with multiple things. I kind of did that Venn diagram just to show people in our area, because a lot of people go to like those fit body boot camps in our area, or I guess it's One Up Wellness now. That they do like very boot campy stuff where they're kind of like a bells and balls class. That's what they kind of classify them at. So they use just medicine balls, kettlebells, and medicine balls, kettlebells, and dumbbells. So they call them bells and balls or balls and bells classes. And then you have CrossFit, which I don't even know if we have a true one in our area anymore. But CrossFit is very barbell heavy, very Olympic lift heavy, very complex gymnastics heavy. So you have those things, and we dabble, right? And we dabble in bells and ball stuff, and we dabble in barbell stuff. And then we're kind of, in the High Rocks, sure, you could put High Rocks there a little bit, and you could put sports performance in there a little bit too. Like we do, like I don't know any other gyms that are doing hurdle jumps or doing like the way that we structure some of our warm-ups with like skipping and all these different things that we incorporate. So we can throw that in there too. And then again, like I just mentioned, we kind of blend all these experiences and things that I find to be effective for people. And then we also have like obviously different experiences that I've had through kind of being a phys ed teacher and a coach for the last 20 years.
So it's basically just taking inspiration from like all our different realms of different trainings and things.
Yeah, and I think it's hard to, I've never been like I talked to Tyler about it. Shout out to Tyler Khaleesi. He's going to be the commencement speaker at Utica University this year.
Is he that DPT guy?
Yeah. So Tyler was one of our first coaches.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Tyler started his he started with us as CrossFit Utica as a member, and then he became one of our first and like main coaches early on, and we still talk. I texted him yesterday. Yeah, we still talk on a regular basis. But Ty's a good dude. His mom worked for us for a long time. His sister came here, family affair type thing. So Tyler works. He travels for a company, and I've thought about potentially doing that for either CrossFit or for these different companies at one point, but I don't truly 100% buy into all the things that they offer, right? So I'm not 100% bought into CrossFit. Yeah, Ty.
They just posted that like 2 hours ago.
Yeah, so I'm not 100% bought into like what CrossFit offers to go out and like teach it to the world, because I don't believe in all of it 100%. And I wouldn't do that for anybody's program necessarily, because that's not how I train people, and that's not what I believe 100%. So I've always, over the years, I've got a lot of certifications and different things, and I like to take pieces of it that I really like and then make my own.
You kind of already touched on this in your explanation of High Rocks, but a couple people were asking me like examples of High Rocks, I guess like programming, but I guess it's just like more inclusive, like cardio type of movements.
Yeah, so I guess I'll kind of explain. We just posted, or I just sent it to the staff. what our next cycle looks like, and I'll pull it up here and we can talk about it. So this is kind of taken from one of High Rocks' workouts off their website, and it's for every 4 minutes for 40 minutes. Not a 4-minute AMRAP. Every 4 minutes, and it's 2 rounds. So station number 1 is running. Station number 2 is an AMRAP of 10 wall balls and 20 lunge jumps. Station number 3 is rowing. Station number 4 is an AMRAP of underhand sled pull with your hands pulling, and then followed by 10 kettlebell swings, an AMRAP there. And then station number 5 is ski. So not super unfamiliar than something that we would already do, but on a Wednesday, we traditionally probably wouldn't do wall balls. And we would do kettlebell swings, but we might not do a lot of sled work, but we do throw that in there from time to time. But you see cardio, we got a little bit of like endurance training with the wall balls and lunge jumps and the kettlebell swings and underhand sled pulls. So in those second and fourth AMRAPs, we traditionally might have more core work. You know, we might have like 10 sit-ups or 10 burpees and 20 sit-ups or something like that. But now we have a little bit more strength work in there. And that's taken from like one of High Rocks' specific workouts. And I just modified it to fit kind of our thing. And then here's another example of another High Rocks one that I took from their website and modified it a little bit to fit our space and our people. So 20-minute AMRAP, partner 1 will ski, while partner 2 will row. And at the end, right, so you row as far as you can while you're skiing. So if Meg and I are partners, however long it takes Meg to ski 400 meters, I'm going to try to row as far as I can in that time. And then before we switch, we're both going to do like synchronized 10 alternating dumbbell snatches. And then we're going to switch. And then I would ski and then she would row. And we keep going back and forth in that sequence for 20 minutes. And then after that, we'll take a little break. And then we're going to do another 20-minute AMRAP of 200-meter run and 10 burpees. And there's a plus at the end of these because at the end of each round, we increase the run by 100 and increase the burpees by 5. So again, another little change up there in how we would do it. And then that was taken from their stuff. And it's just, in some ways, it's just a different way to run classes. You know, and I was talking to, I think, Val and Haley about it. It's like, I buy people's programs sometimes from the internet and just to see how they write their workouts and see if I can get any creative ideas because, you know, we all do the same thing, but we all kind of have our own flavor to it. And sometimes it's good to
just mix it up a little.
Yeah, maybe throw some rainbow sprinkles in there sometimes.
Yeah, those sound fun. I'm excited about that second one more so. I feel like that'll be it's intense, but like fun vibes. So
Yeah, for sure.
It'll be good. But yeah, I feel like a lot of people have asked me this over the last couple of days when that email sent out. So just reiterating, we're not really changing anything. We're just basically adding a little bit. Like it's a little flavor. Nothing is changing. So don't worry. It's still going to be same old prime movement and performance.
A little extra spice.
Just with a little, like he said, rainbow sprinkles. Let's see. So I know you touched in that email on maybe adding classes or like, I know probably nothing's definite yet, but I have here, how are we going to use High Rocks to just kind of like boost member engagement, retention, that kind of thing?
Well, I think it's become very popular and people ask a lot about it, about signing up for things. And I know somebody here is training for a High Rocks coming up to do with a friend in New York City, I believe. And so we just have more people talking about it, asking about it locally as well. So I wanted to have an option for folks to learn about it, do more of it, get exposure to it. And this is one way for us to do it. Now, we haven't, like I said before, we haven't figured out exactly how we're going to integrate it other than the Wednesday class, whether that means we're going to add an 8 a.m. Saturday High Rocks class where the workout's more High Rocksy versus at our traditional 9 o'clock class is more CrossFitty. Or we add another session on a Sunday, you know, maybe adding classes all entirely and do a High Rocks class on a Sunday as like another kind of like a recovery type Wednesday day to give people another option, or adding another one, you know, in the evenings or alongside of something that we already do. So if, you know, that would take a little bit more creativity to add it to our day-to-day. That's because we have 2 different types of program running simultaneously right now. Plus space-wise right now, our other side of the gym that we don't use as much is occupied by young athletes. So it would just be like a space thing, and if it would it be worth it? And then if we did offer, maybe a Saturday and a Sunday and a Wednesday, then we can obviously maybe add a High Rocks only membership for people who only wanted to do the High Rocks classes versus not wanting to do the strength work. Maybe they do other stuff on their own and they wanted to get the High Rocks experience. They can come and do that and have a separate membership that would allow them just to come to those classes. So that would be the long term, maybe
Yeah, like test the waters a little with just the Wednesday thing for now and see how the response is and stuff.
So those changes might be like a 3 to 6 month idea down the road.
It's pretty cool though to have like possibilities of like growth in different ways and like how. Can't believe it's been 10 years. I've only been here for 2, but I feel like it's always changing and things are getting like added and like just fun new things all the time.
Yeah, and I think
it's not just the gym. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, when I first started coaching track and field, I had read a quote to like adapt or die type idea. And if you're not growing, you're like dying essentially. So I always try to find ways to, even if it's just like putting paint on the wall, moving equipment around, trying to find, like I said before, like we're changing the storage room to try to clean up storage a little bit, trying to clean up the space a little bit more. I'm probably this summer I'm building like a storage room over there in that corner that's always messy with all the boxes and different things like that, to clean up the space and get things more organized, get things looking a certain way. Because, as you live in a space a little bit more, and maybe not for, like you've only been here for 2 years, but I've been here this will be 8 years now. So it's always good to, and I'm
just change things up.
Yeah, it gives it a different vibe and feels like a different place sometimes if you can just change it up just slightly.
Where are you putting it? Over at like where the boxes are, over by the garage doors?
Yeah. Oh, well, it's going to end at the garage doors and probably hopefully have a place to like hide the Zamboni and charge it.
Yeah. I think we should make that closet where put the in-body in there. So it's like a private, no, like that's the back one by like the
where that
weights
water thing
are.
is.
No, oh wait, yeah, where like the heater and stuff is. Like make
How
that.
would you put anything in there?
There's room to stand in there.
You're gonna put the in-body in that dirty,
I don't know.
That dirty room?
It's not dirty.
It's like
storage closet. Or in that room, or I guess you can't because that's where like the electricity box is.
Yeah.
Because that's like bougie to like just be like, oh, it's in there. Like go to the in-body.
No, I like it in our office. Plus, it has to be hooked up to a printer.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, well, sorry for that sidebar there. Got excited. Let's
You could just knock down the wall and take over some of the space from the archery.
I can't. I still want to go in there. I don't even.
You haven't been in there yet?
No, I'm scared.
I went in
of
there
it.
one day.
I'm like a little scared.
Their grand opening.
I'm intimidated by it.
It's like a store, and then they have like a thing where you can shoot bows and arrows.
Bows and arrows.
People.
Bow and arrow, I think.
Well,
bows and arrows.
You can shoot different bows. Throw them bows.
I thought it was going to be an axe throwing place, and I thought that would have been fun, but.
No, I think it would be dangerous for axe throwing. It's just wide open. Like if you like
so
how
it's like a golf place.
No, like when you walk in the space where the archery range is, it's pretty wide open. You have to stand behind a line and shoot. Like I think axe throwing is more like they have like walls, don't they? So you don't.
Never been.
I've only seen. I've never been either. I've only seen it on Instagram.
This question that I came up with was more just wanted to chat, and I just think it would be interesting to ask you, just because I coach here or whatever. But how will like do we need to get any more equipment by implementing this like High Rock stuff or like layout change? Because I feel like I see all the videos on my phone all the time, and it's like all these like the run is like a maze and like all these different things because they're obviously in like a giant arena. But like, will we have to change any of like our stuff to be able to do these workouts?
Not particularly. No, I think just how we do stuff already it fits the criteria. The only thing that we've been talking about a little bit, I don't know if we'll get there because it just adds another, how do we store it? Where do we go? Is maybe having another, what do we have right now? We have 5 skis, 5 assault bikes, and 5 runners, maybe getting 6 of each, which would be like 1 more of each, just to make classes flow a little bit better. because you'd be surprised, like if you had one more of a thing and you did like an EMOM, it really changes how you can structure workouts. So that's one thing really, because we have 6 sleds already, so it makes it easier for that. But really, equipment wise, High Rocks does do sandbags.
We have those.
Yeah, but their sandbags are different to throw over your shoulders.
Oh, you're right. They're like the long.
Yeah, they're long, thin
Yeah.
ones. So I have looked at potentially getting some of those to maybe play around with, but I don't love like buying equipment that only has a single use, because then it just takes up space. Even our sandbags now, like I don't love them. I'd like to get rid of them if we could.
Well, we'll put them in the new closet when you build it.
Yeah, and then they'll just sit there and collect dust or make dust. Because that's what they do right now. So I'm just trying to find ways that if we are going to get new equipment, like how are we going to implement it and how are we going to use it? You know, because one of the things that we struggle with at times is when classes are very busy and we have 20 people in a class, that everyone has access to something, or how we lay it out. And that's why the programming part of it is tricky at times, because we do have to plan a class if it was full. And then we have to make sure that, hey, do I have enough rowers, bikes, barbells, dumbbells, kettlebells, medicine balls, so on and so forth for this many people? And then if I don't, I can't put that in the workout. I have to change the workout.
Yeah.
So then that becomes like, if I buy equipment, how much do we need? How does it fit into like what we already do? And then, then you got to go from there.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we already do it when we set up the night before. We'll set up the workout for the next day, but making sure like it feng shuis better, like it flows better.
For sure.
With like specifically like High Rock stuff, because you'll go from like A, B, C, D, like everything's pretty regimented, versus we can get away sometimes with like going from like the ski to the bike or something, because it's like not that far away.
Yeah. Yeah, and when I write the workout, sometimes I think of that, like what's next. Like if you're on the sled, do I have you go to the ski, which is on the other side of the room, or do I try to fit you like something in the middle, and then try to like have it so it's like stations as you move across the gym. So I try to think of that when we're doing it, so we're not kind of like jumping back and forth different spots.
Jeez, what don't you do, man?
So is there any equipment you think we need?
I think
we have too much equipment. Like when people come to the gym, they're like, "Holy!"
No, I don't
guys
think
got
we
tons
have
of
too
equipment.
much equipment. I think we could like figure out maybe a way to store things like better.
Well, that's it. We don't
But I
have
know
any
it's
storage.
hard
Yeah, we don't
because-
have any.
But I don't think it looks like messy or like whatever. Like we have what we need, and it's conducive to the people that we have in each class.
Yeah.
Like you can get away with less stuff out for 6:15, but you can't have 5:15.
No.
And then randomly 4:30 has like 50 people in it. Like 50. But like, I don't know. Like it would be dumb to like put out stuff and then take away stuff if the class is smaller and like put back. Like that's stupid. Yeah, I don't know. I want to try one of those. What were they called? The strength ergs.
Oh yeah,
I
those are
want
weird.
to try one of those.
They're so expensive, and that's the thing with a fitness equipment too. I wish there was a place where, and I've kind of talked to this with people, in terms of in the sports performance world. Somebody reached out to me wanting to like test a velocity based trainer. Are you familiar with that?
No.
So velocity based training is where they hook up like a mechanism to the barbell, and
Oh yeah, I have seen.
so that when you deadlift or squat, the barbell has to move at a certain speed, like minutes per or meters per second, in order for the rep to count. And it's big into like Division I programs, but like Alabama's facility is like a $10 million facility, and they have unlimited funds, and they have everything all over. So, somebody wanted me to test it. So for me to have one of those isn't really beneficial. I can have one athlete do velocity-based training or two athletes. So then it becomes difficult. The only things I ever look at in the summertime, well, I did actually buy new equipment. I bought some new, but I spent like $20 on Amazon, some more cones and like Frisbee things to do games in the warm-ups. But that's the only really equipment I've been looking at recently of adding, because it's so hard, because like I think the strength erg is like $3,500. So like to spend money on something that
that's just chump change. What do you mean?
that you would buy one of those, and then you don't even know what you would do with it. Like I have to play around with it for like 3 months to even figure out what to do.
Yeah, I don't even know what it does.
Yeah, it's like a leg press machine. It could be like a row.
It's kind of cool. I just want to try it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like there's no way to try some of these things without like just buying one and then letting it sit in the corner.
There's an entrepreneurship idea right there. Let's get it going.
Yeah, renting.
Prime Movement and Performance Rentals.
Yeah, rent it before you buy it, or try it before you buy it. I found out how to hold this thing. I think I like it, like holding it like this. I have a little like.
That doesn't cramp your phalanges.
No, it actually feels pretty good.
All right, I'll try and hold it like that and see if I like it. I think we should put the skis on the wall because then that frees up over by the garage doors. But then
Yeah.
I also know that we have 5, so then it looks uneven. So I feel like we would have to get 6 to be able to go like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then like we would have to move those boxes. I don't know. I'm sure if we like sat down like, and I'm sure you do it all the time because I feel like you're a little like, not OCD, but like you're like regimented or like whatever. Like you could, I bet you think of ideas like all the time. You know what I mean? But like, oh, I bet if I moved this here, how would that look? That might free up. Like that would make that a little bit less like.
Yeah. Yeah, I've thought about that with the skis. And, you know, we always put them over there anyway now because the other 2 are there. So I guess it doesn't make a difference. But then you get rid of it. Then you lose that wall space
Oh, yeah. True.
for like wall walks and different things like that. I mean, you don't lose a ton, but you do lose some.
That's like where our biggest wall is, though.
Yeah,
like
our
do
biggest
stuff.
open space, yeah.
Or if we did that, then you'd get more of the mount things to put on the rigs for targets. Like, I feel like there's spots to put more.
Oh, yeah, wall ball targets, yeah.
So then you would just add that. And then for, I don't know, for the wall walks, like, I don't know where else you would go. You would have to make sure that the rowers and the skis were always out to
Yeah.
have that wall. Interesting.
Plus, the tricky part is with these walls is they're not load bearing. They're made out of metal studs and they don't have like wood in them, so you have to kind of like brace the wall for support, especially if someone's yanking on a ski.
Mm.
Because like in commercial buildings, they don't let you use a lot of wood because they're scared of fires, so everything's metal. So a lot of these aren't structurally supportive walls, so it's hard to hang stuff on them.
So basically, if I yank too hard on the ski erg, it'll blow off the wall.
Not right now because there is a 2x4 runner that's bolted into a couple of studs.
That was
That
going to inspire me to ski harder.
And they've been up there for at least a year and a half now, if not 2 years, that nobody's yanked them off the wall yet.
We also need to add my office in here somewhere. I'm thinking maybe we could loft me up above that.
The new storage room, I'm going to create a loft space above
yeah.
it. Yeah.
And that's going to be my office.
Yeah, I'll just put like a so you could supervise the whole time. There'll just be like a railing, so you can just sit up there and like watch
Yes.
everything.
We will also allow the kids to go up there when they come.
Yeah, that's probably it. I probably won't do that then. Won't be
I'm
kids
joking.
jumping off the
Well,
rails,
also, yeah, like
especially with the kids that come
the
here.
kids love to climb the boxes when they come here and like pretend that they're in like a castle or something.
Yeah,
That'll be the kids' hangout room.
the lookout,
The lookout.
like Paw Patrol.
Yeah, exactly like that. How long have we been going? A
About
decent
40
time?
minutes. Yeah,
All right. Well, this
been
is
flying though.
I know we're just 2 best friends chatting it up.
two
This
besties.
flows well. Last I guess High Rocks question, and then I have a couple fan questions.
Oh, fan! I didn't even check my phone to see if I have any. My phone's over there.
These ones are good, so we don't
All
even
right.
need it. But all right, so do like me, Adam, all the rest of the coaching staff, are we gonna have to? Oh my god, I just brain farted.
Like get certified.
Oh yeah, are we gonna have to like get certified at all, or is it like self-teachable, or is it only like you and Rye kind of thing that you guys have to do it, or like how does that work with High Rocks?
So there's nothing really like that. They do have something. I haven't looked that much into it, like a certification about it. But honestly, I don't know what it could offer.
Yeah, because it's all the movements that we're like already doing,
Yeah.
pretty much.
They're all movements that you're already familiar with, the systems that we're already familiar with. So I'm not 100% sure that it would be beneficial. And it was like $500 for like the level 1 thing. And I was like, do I really want to spend $500 to even like look at this? But I don't think we need to do anything particularly right at this moment.
Yeah, or it could be like a in the future thing, like if we add it in a greater extent, or like we have to section off, like, oh, these coaches do this, whatever. Like it could be in the future.
Yeah, I don't even know if anyone. You're not CrossFit certified, right?
Oh no.
Yeah, I think Riley just got CrossFit certified. I don't even know if she finished it. And then Adam, I honestly don't know if she finished it. I know she was doing it, and I think Adam has his level 1, but I think that's it. in terms of CrossFit certification. Everybody else just has a traditional NASM or NSCA type ACE.
And our strength and conditioning from Mike Boyle.
Oh, Mike Boyle's CFSC, yeah. So, yeah, I think a lot of us don't have the CrossFit certification anyway, which technically doesn't mean anything because we're a CrossFit gym and I'm pretty much oversee everything, and I'm here.
Yeah.
So, and I'm a
The
level,
Big Lebowski.
and I'm a level 3, which they just started offering level 4 recently, so I don't even know if it's.
So you're ill qualified to own the gym now.
Ill qualified, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say something else, but I forgot.
How ill qualified I am.
Yeah, I was gonna say something before that. I don't know if you realize this, but both of us keep slouching because this is obstructing us, but
Well, cause
we both keep going like this.
I can move this out of the way
It's okay.
or turn it so it's not. The high part isn't right in front of us.
Oh my gosh, I really can't remember. All right. Well, I guess until I remember,
Go to the next question.
we'll go. Well, that was the last High Roxy one. These are our fan questions.
Yeah, that's
now.
fine. That's fine.
All
I think
right.
we talked about High Rocks enough anyway.
Yeah. Well, if anyone else has any more questions on that, especially gym members, feel free to go up to any of the coaches, go up to Ant, go up to Rye, ask away. Don't feel shy if you have any questions. And we'll do our best to answer or point you in someone who can. To someone who can. First one, Matt Daughtry. He wants to know if we could do another landmine workshop.
Yeah, I mean, we can do landmine workshops. We haven't programmed them in a while. So I don't know if we're going to go back to programming them or not. But we can do a landmine workshop or any workshop. Really, I was looking recently at one of my friends who did a deadlift clinic. And I think many of us who do those barbell movements could use a little extra TLC to just kind of get them refined, figure out some ways to make it better for you. Deadlifts are just one that pops up in my head because a lot of people tend to struggle with that. And that's the one that people are scared of. And the one that people do tweak their back if they do it. So that's just one that pops into my head. And one of my friends who owns a different gym did something like that, which I think could make sense. Any kind of clinic. Yeah, I like those ideas.
Sorry.
Aggressive sneeze.
It was. I sneezed from my toes. Yeah, I think that would be fun. A lot of people say that. I always wanted to do a landmine one because I feel like I want to learn how to deload it better in the cool way that you guys do it.
Yeah.
Because I forget after we don't do it for a while, and then I can't do it. I have to practice it a bunch. And then Mike Slade is very upset. So for you guys who don't know, we're doing a Muscles and Mimosas thing in a couple of weeks. And basically it's going to be a female-only, just little workout class. People can bring a buddy, just really women empowering, female inclusive, not anything super crazy. And I think you guys were talking about doing a class or something too, right? Where it was just female only strength training.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. And Mike Slade's very upset that we're only doing this for the woman in the gym. So he wants to know, can we do a guy day / dad day?
Yeah, and I put this in the PS of that email that most recently went out about the High Rocks, about the Prime Power Play, which is our High Rocks challenge type thing, and the Muscles and Mimosas. That I put a little PS in the bottom, was hey, any dads out there who want to chat and get together for something else, let's make it happen. And then we just talked a little bit at the end of class, about doing something similar to that, and some of the movements out there by some fitness influencers. One of my buddies, Jamie, and Jason Kalipa, who used to be a big-time CrossFit athlete and owns NC Fit, which is kind of a regional chain in California of different gyms, CrossFit-style gyms, kind of similar to us. And he has I forget what he calls it exactly, but he talks about using fitness as a way to protect and provide for your family.
Didn't you say it was called Dadder Days?
Dadder Days is Jamie's.
Mm.
Yeah, Dadder Days is Jamie's. And he just went on a little retreat with 10 guys, and they went and hiked and did something and hung out and ate steak and did manly things.
Manly things. Do beers and dad bods. Or
no,
beers
we don't want to
and-
have a dad bod.
Or yeah, you're right. Beers and
biceps.
barbells.
Beers and biceps.
Yeah, beers and biceps. And muscles and mimosas. Muscle mommies.
Yeah. Whiskey and whiskey and weights.
Ooh, that's good. That's good. I like it.
I'm like a regular old
Wine and-
GTP here.
Yeah, wine and weights, because they're sponsored by Mike Slade's Wine.
Yeah, he does make his own wine.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for the pod this week. You got any updates? Sign up for this will be on the day of the High Rocks,
This will get released on that day, yeah.
which is also the day of the McCluskey wedding.
Yeah, McCluskey's birthday also.
Oh, yes, you're right.
So it's a double, triple whammy of festivities. We have the Prime Power Play. It's Brian McCluskey, a.k.a. the dog's birthday. And it's also the day that he weds his love of his life, Mandy Pandy.
And I get to officiate my first wedding.
Yep, Meg is the officiant, and Riley is the official photographer. And it's happening in a cabin that's about the size of these two
A
tables.
church.
Or it's a chapel.
A temple.
No, it's a chapel, not a temple.
Yeah, a chapel.
It's
that's
a
what I
floating chapel in the middle of a lake.
meant.
That's the size of this,
Yeah, it's
this
very
set
small.
of tables here that you could only actually fit McCluskey, Mandy, Meg, and Riley in there.
And their 2 kids.
And their 2 kids. They have to swim out there, though.
Yeah, we do. Technically, the occupancy sign says 4 persons, but we're fitting 6. And
Wow.
he got the okay.
What, you guys are I don't know. It's floating.
Hopefully,
so.
we do not capsize.
Capsize.
Um,
Like the Titanic.
yeah, we might. Oh my God, would that not be like? That's a movie. That is a romance movie. Any questions? Yeah, that's gonna be great. We'll have to report back to you guys. We'll have to podcast early next week as well, because Saturday's just gonna be nuts.
We can do Friday again because there's no school.
Yeah, or Sunday. Okay, Friday. What else is going on? We start a new cycle this week, so that'll be fun. We got a 20 rep max back squat.
Yeah, we start a new training cycle coming up this week, but it'll be, by the time this post, we had already done it for a week. So you won't,
So it sucks.
So it sucks already. It's terrible. The 20 rep back squat was miserable. The new High Rocks workouts were fun.
Is the first one this? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it is
that'll be
this
the first
week,
one.
and then the next one is.
We just did it on Wednesday. We just did it. And we
Yeah, it
did
was so good.
Yeah, it was so good. It was so amazing. We have a little bit of Murph prep still coming up, and then we have a single arm high pull for our people who struggle with shoulder pain. So we've been trying to mix in Thursdays as like kind of like a shoulder health day, because shoulders have seemed to be a big issue for many of our at least male clients. Female clients struggle with a couple different things. Sometimes it's like lower back is everybody, but definitely guys is the shoulders. And then we have skater squats on Friday. So that should be fun.
Riley ditched us for Nashville. That's why she.
Yeah, that's why we
not
also
here
don't
today.
have coffee again today.
Oh my! Don't even get me 2 weeks in a row.
Talk about grinding your gears.
I'm totally grinded up right now. Consider me peeved. Did you
Alright.
get questions?
No, we're good.
No, 2 weeks in a row, no coffee.
I know.
I mean, at the very least, you'd think that she would have like DoorDashed it here for us.
I know, right? But I mean, she may not know because she's an hour behind in Nashville. It's 10:30 there, and not 11:30.
You're
so.
right.
So she may have not known the time difference.
Very true.
I must say, when I went to Nashville, I didn't know there was a time difference, and it just like we were driving, and then it just changed all of a sudden. Like when we went to like Louisville or something, then we went to like into Tennessee, and I was like, oh, how'd that happen?
I would like to experience that once in my life.
What, time change or
Yeah.
Nashville?
Both.
Yeah.
Well, like the time change, like that's just crazy to me. Like, how do you go to Florida and I guess there's no time change,
No.
but then you go to Tennessee, which is pretty close.
Yep.
And
It's right on
time
the
change?
the border, honestly. Like Nashville is like right on the
So like that doesn't make sense to me.
yeah. Yeah, Austin we were I think 2 hours difference.
Or like how is like Europe? They're like a day ahead.
Well, I don't think they're not a day ahead. I think parts of Europe are like 6 hours ahead. Like
Okay,
Australia
well there's
is like
a place
day.
that's a day ahead. Yeah,
Yeah.
Australia. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
So they already know everything that already happened like today.
Yeah, it's because the sun rotates. Or the earth rotates around the sun.
Which this is what blows my mind. So like let's say some crazy world event is going to happen today, but it already happened to them, or it happens on the next day.
No, it's the time is the same. Like the
The
actual
date
thing,
is just different.
the actual thing that's happening is happening at
In
the
real
same
time.
in real time. Yeah. The only thing that's like different is like
Blows my
New
mind.
Year's,
Yeah, that blows my mind. It does not make sense.
but that's not like a significant. Like if there was like a bombing or something like that, it would be
The
like
17th for them, the 16th for us, or whatever.
well, yeah, maybe the date that it happened might be different, I guess, but I don't know. Now I don't know.
See?
But maybe they would say that it happened on whatever today was April 18th in New York.
Yeah, but it didn't.
But it did. It happened on April 18th in New York.
Oh, yeah. So now they're just messed up because
No,
now they're
but
going off of all these different
Yeah,
time.
but they just probably go about where it happened, when it happened.
Stress.
Stress.
I
On
can't-
that note,
we gotta not go down this rabbit hole because I'll be spinning all day about this.
on that note, I think we are done with episode. I believe this is 56.
No, I think the last one was.
No, we just posted 54. And then 55 is getting
yeah,
released tomorrow.
So 56.
So this would be 56. Holla at your boy.
You're.
You want to finish
gotta
with another
snap.
rap?
Yeah.
You got to
You have-
rap it out?
No, you have to rap this time.
No, I think I'm a pretty good beatboxer.
I already rapped. I'm not gonna be able to come up with nothing else.
All right, go ahead.
Let me do.
Me and Meg sitting here. You gotta keep going. You can't laugh. Meg and Ant sitting on the mic. It's a Friday afternoon, and we're done because it's.
You don't understand. I don't know how people beatbox like that. How do you breathe?
You gotta breathe in between.
Yeah, but then you miss a beat through my deviated septum.
You can make a noise when you breathe in too. Watch.
Wiki, wiki, wiki.
Watch.
Yup. Prime in the house, dog. We out.
Watch.